In this video, I'll be reviewing how do you make changes to the pricing page. And I think the pricing page is actually a really good generic example of how to make changes to all kinds of pages in Contentful, whether it's the About page or really any one of these that are maintained by other members of the marketing team. They're organized in a really logical format that pretty much mirrors the live site. And so this one I'll just use as an example, but it really is a good example of how easy it is to change other pages as well. So let's go to the pricing page from this directory doc. And as you can see here, again, title label is something that we just use internally so we know where we are. There's a metadata field like there is for every other page, just so that we rank with the right keywords. There's a headline, and then there's these pricing modules that reflect what the pricing page looks like. So let's go to the pricing page just to review that. So we've got this bundle of individual plans and then a team plan, and all of the copy, all of these items, even like button copy, where it links to, can all be updated in Contentful. So if we go back and let's pull up an example one. So individual pricing module. So this is a reference to all of these items here. And as you can see, it's very clear, what this copy indicates, even things like what the toggling should do. And then you can go into the individual pricing details, which is one level down, and make updates to things like pricing, the different words that we use, so on and so forth. There is something that is a little bit trickier over here, which is around what do we want to indicate, which features are associated with or um, come along with that plan. And these entitlements can change with new feature releases and things like that. And anything that is sort of part of, like inherently part of this model structure, right? You can't edit this. It's either on or off. This is something that needs to be edited in the content model. So it's not editable by an editor. This is actually pretty easy to do, but if you get confused and you're not quite sure how to do it, it's something that Tassos can help definitely edit in the content model. I will, however, go through that in this tutorial because it's something that the team will definitely need to do in the future. So let's say you want to update this content model because there is, so let's just reference this again, just so you know, right? There's all these different features. And let's say there is a new premium add-on that we want to add. And the premium add-on, so it would be another item to add to this list, and we want it to go in between submittals and automatic submittal log. What you do is go to that module. So that's the team module. And if we scroll down, it's the premium add-ons. And as I suspected, when we created this content model, it only came with these 6 things, and it didn't include this new feature that we're releasing. So you have to figure out what is this content model. And if you go to info, you can find out the content type is an item. It's called item pricing team module. You don't really have to worry too much about those words. They're just arbitrary words that we use to name this thing. But you need to remember it when you go into the content model tab, which is something that you can do as an admin or owner in Contentful. So let's go in here, and I'm going to search for item pricing team, I think those are the words, module. Here we go. And this is the original content model. So if you think back to that instance of it, it has every single one of those fields from what was defined when we originally created the model in this content model tab. So let's go down to premium add-ons and click on the settings. And if you go to validations, you can see the options that we've put under this specific module, right? So we set up this content model, so it's required. There's a bunch of other options that we didn't select, but we did select that it should accept only specified values. And we put these rules in place so people just don't go crazy in adding whatever they want to add, right? And the text is just coming from this single source of truth. And so let's say we have a new, let's say it's workflows is a new feature that we're going to make premium. If you add it here and you save it, it's going to show up as another item, but you have to save it in here and you have to save it when you go to the main page, right? So save here, and then you also have to save it here. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to mess around with the page, but that is a really important point that any changes you make, you have to make sure it's saved in both the modal and the page. So if I do that, I'm not going to do that for now. I'm just going to save this as it is. And if we go back to content and we go back to, and if it's impossible for you to find it through this, which is another table of contents, just go back to your website requests. Where were we? We were on the pricing page. If you've saved it in the content model itself, then when you come back to this page and you go back to the team pricing module, under premium, it should be listed as an option because you just saved it as part of the content model, and then you can select it. That is in general how you make updates to the content model itself. That is not something we do regularly, so just check in with Tassos, make sure that this is something that you need to include. You need to have an option for templates going forward. But in general, that's probably the most common update that's going to be made to the pricing page. And then other things like changing copy under FAQ or anything like that kind of works like any other page where, down here, let's say there's an FAQ module, and you go in here, you can change the image, and you can go into any of these items, change the copy, and that's pretty basic. Okay, I think that's it for the pricing page.